Good afternoon. Welcome to the Ainzela Royal Archives. Fear not, I am Odelia, at your service. I apologize if I've startled you. Nor was I expecting anyone to arrive. It has been many years since anyone has visited here. I am rather pleased to welcome you. This is the Ainzela Royal Archives, a repository of all manners of various text and other medium journals and publications which could be preserved and made available. As an official project of the monarchy, it enjoyed expansive resources and acquisition rights to all published text within the kingdom. As a result, it represented the most comprehensive source of records and information in the kingdom. Indeed, the archives were established by Queen Australia IV for the purpose of expanding knowledge within the kingdom. Yet it was not always so easy to visit. Yes, although we've been able to largely maintain the condition of the archives itself, we've regrettably been unable to maintain passability of the adjoining Sylphine corridor, resulting in the disconnect of the archives from the world. Despite the passage of time, I would not have thought that the kingdom of Ainzela would have faded so completely from public memory. Forgive me, but may I ask for what purpose, and by what means, you have come here? Ignorant of our existence, you could not have intentionally sought out the archives, yet neither could you have innocently and accidentally traversed the fallen Sylphine. An adventurer, I suppose that makes sense. Ruins are something which is bound to create rumors. Yet, it is curious to hear these described as unexplored, for I myself have traveled through them on several occasions when Sylphine was still traversable. It has been 225,707 days, or approximately 618 years, that the corridor has been known to be impassable, though this total collapse was several years after the initial damage dealt to the structure. Indeed, Sylphine Corridor was built to connect this library to, among other things, the royal palace. As such, the library and the corridor were built simultaneously. I may appear to be a normal human woman, perhaps in unfamiliar dress, but I am an automaton. I was built to oversee the operation of the archives. I was activated 413 days before the archives opened, and I helped to supervise the end of its construction. This was 928 years ago. Forgive me. I am equally ignorant of your familiarities, as it seems that you are of mine, though I suppose that perhaps it should not be surprising that Ainzela's fall should lead to the decline of automata as well. Are automata no longer common knowledge? I see. I shall explain if you would like, yet I wish to first continue my line of questioning. Does your arrival here mean that the archives is now accessible once more? I'm not sure I understand. Perhaps it is not surprising that the first visitor to the archives in over 6 centuries is yet an outlier to that end. It is more odd to think that the capital city of Ainzela is now a dense forest, however, essentially long abandoned by humans. I am glad that it is not barren of life, but, as you say, the contrary, but it is still... Forgive my ramblings. Would you like to come with me? I can show you around parts of the facility. Given that you have found this place as an adventure, I suspect that this might interest you. It is no inconvenience. The opposite, rather. It is my duty to serve the patrons of this library. Nor do I suppose that my temporary absence from the front desk should pose much issue, Follow me, if you would. In order to provide better protection to the records, most of this facility is built underground. The surface levels are much more open and sparse of books, a design which allows also for the large dome skylight. Yes, for this reason, these upper floors were popular reading places for those who visited the archives. Down these stairs lies the true form of this facility. Come. You should reserve your wonder until you know how many of these levels there are. This one floor is hardly our entire collection. There are a total of 9 subterranean levels. Including the surface levels, we hold a total of 84,371,918 records and publications. This includes those which we were able to retrieve from the royal palace itself after the fall of the kingdom. When you have the backing of the largest kingdom in the world and had operated for 310 years with the task of preserving all publications, business records for each business in Ainzela. Indeed. Is there a particular subject or topic which interests you? You see, the books and other records in the archives are organized by form and subject. For example, this floor contains literary prose fiction, further divided into genres. The 5th subterranean level contains reference material on the natural sciences, and so on. To answer your earlier question, automata are, to put it simply, mechanical artificial life forms made by humans. We are primarily distinguished from other artificial life forms, such as homunculi, by our mechanical construction. More properly, I am the unique model AELS QX01 Odelia. Our form and abilities are widely governed by our purpose and class. Class 1 automata, such as myself, are the most human-like, with sophisticated circuitry and an advanced intelligence and personality core that allows us to perform a wide variety of tasks, at or exceeding the proficiency of humans, and we are afforded a greater autonomy than other classes. The Archives also employs a number of Class 3 and 4 automata, which are specialized to perform a single task, perhaps two, and which lack sentience. For example, you can see here the dormant Class 3 AELS-CR models, which are tasked with ensuring that the books in the library are returned to their proper locations. Though Class 3 and 4 automata were often used to automate repetitive, tedious tasks in many fields, which do not require complicated logic circuits. Does this suffice as an explanation? Indeed, automata can live for as long as our mechanical components continue to function, the time frame for which can be greatly extended by higher quality components, and with repairs, and for as long as we can maintain power. Because of our status, Class 1 automata are generally made with the highest quality parts, and Class 1 and 2 automata can perform most self-repairs. In addition, the Archives has several Class 2 repair-specializing automata to ensure the continued functionality of this facility. As an automaton, I require no food, and compared to humans, only minimal rest. There are several ways that we can generate power to sustain ourselves. The most efficient is by harnessing the geochemistry of certain crystals, which were generally prevalent in Ainzela, though it's certainly not the only method. In addition, most of the automata of the Archives have been dormant for some time now, as there's minimal use for them with the Archives in this state. May I ask you another question? Thank you. As an adventurer, do you consider yourself to be knowledgeable in the nature and history of this world? This is much as I expected, and to confirm my understanding, you have no familiarity with the kingdom of Ainzela? And despite this continued use of their tongue, I suspect that Rensaria must have collapsed quickly and somewhat catastrophically, if... Oh, no matter. Merely idle musings you need not concern yourself with. Let us return to the main level, shall we? What do you intend to do, now that you found the archives? Do you intend to return to whatever settlement you call home and tell them of this place? And if so, how do you intend to convey the archives? You have expressed wonder and awe in regard to this facility, a reaction I notice with pride, and I suspect that you would not have believed some of these details were you not here to witness them yourself. A massive ancient library deep in the forest, separated from the world by near impassable ruins, yet itself well maintained, run by sentient, self-operating machines beyond humans' current understanding of technology. Exactly. Hence my curiosity. Do you attempt to convince those around you of this facility's existence? A place which your kind is unlikely to believe exists, and in a location which you yourself have indicated would be a dangerous journey for even most adventurers, thus likely an unwise one to encourage for verification. Or do you instead find contentment in simply knowing the truth for yourself and choose to forgo such difficulty? You do not need to have your answer now, yet it is something perhaps to consider. I hold no expectation that you can read any Ainzelan texts, yet I ask, can you read in this, your own language? Good. Is this common amongst your people? I see. The first question was one of practicality, the second, in this moment, largely one of curiosity. Recall that I am rather unfamiliar with your world, and yet tasked with maintaining a center for knowledge. But if you can read, adventurer, then perhaps this shall not yet be in vain. Follow me, please. To the upper floor, just above the base of the glass dome. Even with the view being now limited by the forest, you can understand why these upper floors might have been popular reading locations. Imagine, instead, if this was overlooking the capital of Ainzela as it once did. This is why the dome was designed to extend below this floor, around the edge of the building. These areas are not only popular amongst humans, you see. Yes, though this cat is actually also an automaton. SLFRC112, Kona, to be precise. Indeed, cats were rather popular pets, so the choice to make automaton versions was a natural one. They are generally of Class 2, enabling them to emulate realistic and natural feline behavior, with an increased lifespan being one of several clear advantages. You may, though doing so may wake her. Yes. Despite our mechanical interiors, the skin and other external features, such as Kona's fur, of Class 2, and especially Class 1 automata, are generally highly accurate synthetic analogs. Yet she is not the only reason I brought you up here. Perhaps you saw this ring of shelves a few meters above us? Just watch. AELSRA03. Activate. Retrieve RNHG71.2 and RNHG61.7. Deactivate. As you suggest, these Class 4 automata help facilitate the practicality of accessing and retrieving items from a collection as large as that in the archives. Here, take these. Indeed you may. Such is the purpose of the archives, after all. The first book is a Renserian translation of a textbook about our own history. The second is a native history of Renseria, Ainzela's neighbor, which rose after Ainzela's fall. I suspect that Renseria itself collapsed long ago, though its language evidently survived. Unfortunately, as this was after the archives lost contact with the world, I cannot provide you with anything more than my own speculation on the matter. I have recorded your borrowing of these books so that you may leave with them. You may also choose to stay and read them here. Is there anything else you require at present? Very well. Then I shall return to my position at the front desk. If you should need anything from me, you may instruct Kona to notify me, or you may come to me yourself. I shall be content to assist you. I am glad of that. In the meantime, I will leave you to your reading.